Take 7.
Hi guys, it's Stacy.
And Chris.
And we're going to have a little conversation about marriage. I'm somebody that's been married, I'm going to say off and on for 32 years. And where I say off and on is I was married 18 years. Separated and divorced for about 9. And back together for the last 7. So I can say I got a little expertise on it.
So what we're going to do is we are going to give you, from all of our experience and education on the matter, we're going to give you our top 5 tips to a better marriage.
And first of all, the first one is God. You need God in your life. You need God in your marriage. You need God in everything you do. Because nothing works without God. God is the center of your marriage. It is first and foremost. God comes first.
Yeah, so we're taught it's a 3-part, it's 3 in 1. It's a Trinity type of deal. You, your husband, for us, you, your husband, and God. And so, there's a lot that goes into that, but I think that the first step of that is really just recognizing that. It's acknowledging it, it's caring, it has to mean something to you. And then you need to take the steps to initiate that into your marriage. So praying for each other, praying with each other. I honestly have to say, at one point, my husband and I started a routine where we got, we prayed every night together. So we got down on our knees every night before we went to bed and we prayed together. It's bonding.
It is.
It's
Absolutely.
bonding. It's a little bit emotional and it's bonding, and it's something that, just enhances your marriage a little bit.
You need to worship together.
Yeah. And
find a place to worship together. It's very important. It is.
Yeah. And, let God be, pray for decision making, right? Pray when you need to make a decision, a big decision in your lives. Both of you pray about it. Pray together about it. Make your decisions wisely and with some counsel. You should unilaterally be making those decisions, and sometimes you don't agree, right? So sometimes you pray about it and you may not even know it right away, but God gives you something that lets you know this is right or this is wrong.
God will guide you.
Yeah.
You open up your ear and you allow yourself to listen, God will guide you. He will. Everybody needs God in their marriage. That's the first.
So, number 2 is love, which sounds like it should be a given, but,
not everybody loves the same.
Right.
People love differently, and you're 2 different people. You're not the same person. Although you are one, you're still 2 different people.
And not only that, but when you are first together, you're in love with each other, right?
It's called the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Boy, you really like them then.
Yeah. Everybody puts forth their best effort. The sex
is great. Everything's great.
We just talked about God, and you're telling them to have sex before marriage.
I didn't say sex before marriage.
You said at the beginning of the marriage. Okay.
Everything's fantastic.
Yeah.
You want to cook for them. You want to clean for them. You want to love on them. And then reality hits.
Yeah. You spend enough time, you get comfortable together, people relax, they let go a little bit, and you learn the things you maybe don't like about them, but so much. The things that get on your nerves.
They fart around you. It's hard.
Yeah. Maybe you fart around them.
You gotta walk in the bathroom after they poop. It's rough. Those are the things I hate. I hope you know that. Just putting it all out there.
Oh, you're great. Okay, so one of the things we wanted to elaborate on as far as love goes, like Stacey said, everybody loves differently. So if you've never heard of it, there are 5 love languages. And basically what that breaks down is just the 5 different ways that people give and receive love. More importantly, receive.
Yeah.
But it's important, almost imperative in your marriage that you know what your spouse's love language is, because a lot of times they're not the same as yours. So we're going to break them down and talk about them a little bit. You want to do the first one?
Well, the first one is gifts and tokens of affection. You know, when your husband brings you in those pretty earrings, or you get those flowers, or you do something really nice for them. They feel that. You feel that. You know what it feels like for somebody to make you feel special and bring something. It's recognition that they care.
Yeah.
You know?
So the next one is quality time. I don't know how much we need to elaborate on that one. But for some people, being with their spouse is what makes them feel connected and loving towards them and from them. They appreciate that time being together. Other people, not as much. You know, they appreciate just the little bit of time that they spend together means more, or, you know, maybe they fall into one of these other categories.
Okay, and the next one is physical touch. Y'all know what that is. You want to be kissed. You want to be hugged. You want to be loved. And sometimes you just don't. But you got to figure out what your partner needs. And there's times you do have to give when you just don't want to. And there's times that, you know, they walk over to you and you're cooking dinner and they wrap their hand around your waist. You're like, oh, God, here he comes. You may not want that at the time, but he may need that. So you got to be aware of what your partner needs when it comes to being physical. You know, you really do. And as women, when after you hit a certain age, you're like, I don't want to. And y'all know what I'm talking about. You got to be aware of what your partner needs. You do have to worry about your partner's needs as they have to worry about yours.
Yeah. All right, next one is words of affirmation. And again, sort of self-explanatory, but, you know, really some people need to hear that you appreciate them, that you love them. That
I'm one of them. I'm like that.
That they look nice, that they, I don't know, I love you so much, I appreciate you. You know, thanking them for doing little stupid things for them. It's how they receive love, and it matters. So if that is your spouse,
that hits home with me.
Yeah.
That hits home with me. I'm somebody that needs that. If I'm getting dressed and I feel beautiful, I really need my husband to tell me I'm beautiful. It makes me feel good. I think that's a good one for me. Okay, I'm going to do the last one. Acts of service. If it's cooking your husband dinner, if it's doing his laundry, if it's making love, whatever it is. And I don't want to say making love. God, acts of service, making love, but hey.
I mean, I guess it could be. Because for him, it would be taking out the garbage.
Yeah.
You know, washing the dogs. I don't know, washing the car, going and getting the oil change. Like, it's just things that you can do.
And I'm one of them. That's one that hits home for me.
So we know what Stacy's two. Most people have two. Most people have two.
Some people have 5. It just depends who you are.
Yeah.
It really is. But all 5 of them are important. And to read them back to you, gifts or tokens of affection, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, and acts of service. They're important. Write them down, ladies. Write them down. Remember them. Because that's what will make a solid marriage. You got to find your husband's love language. And truthfully, he got to find yours. And if he doesn't know it, tell him. Tell him what you need. Because it's important. And that runs into something else we wanted to talk about, communication.
Yeah. Oh, wait, and one more thing. If you are curious about the love languages too, we can send you, there's a link, there's actually a book that's called The 5 Love Languages that breaks them down and explains them. So it helps you if you maybe don't know what yours is or what your husband's is, it breaks everything down for you and you can...
And really, it would be wonderful to read it just for your marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so sorry, back to communication.
Communication. Oh, is that important? Oh, that's important because that's why my marriage did not go right the first time. You have to learn how to communicate. And if you don't know how, you got to figure it out. If you got to get a third party in there, whatever you need to do, you have to learn to communicate with each other. You can't let things go. You can't act like things aren't going on because things build. You address it immediately. And just got to figure out how to talk to each other.
And it's not as much what you say as how you say it
and when you say it.
So that's a big one we want to talk about.
There's times you got to step back, allow yourself to calm down, allow your partner to calm down, because you can't just can't always just go at it.
Yeah, and I think, okay, so first of all, when you're if you're in like an argument, that's not the time to try and
Get your point across.
They're
not listening, and neither are we.
No. But there are also, I think you learn your partner. If you pay attention, you'll find when they do receive the best. So whether it's like, I don't know, first thing in the morning, or, you just know, like, oh, he's tired, I'm not going to talk about that now. Or, they're in a bad mood. Or there's some that are super obvious, but there's other ones that it's just you learn who they are as a person, and when they're more...
When they'll receive
they're more susceptible to receive it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then and again, it is somewhat of how you say it. Choose your words wisely.
That's not the easiest thing for us ladies.
No, and check your tone.
And men don't like a tone.
No.
Even though we give it off so easily.
Yeah.
They don't like it. Neither do we.
No.
Neither do we.
I don't think anybody does.
And I don't think you should have a tone with each other. You got kids to have a tone too. You got, you shouldn't do that in marriage. Really, you shouldn't. Mm-mm. And then last one is selflessness.
No, we skipped one. We have two more. Patience.
Patience. Patience. Oh, you have to be patient with that partner.
And patience is part of the communication piece too. I mean, you got to bite your tongue for a while. That requires some patience, right? Like sitting back and not blurting out what you want to say. That requires some patience. So patience and communication, patience and just letting them be who they are. Because a lot of times,
them for who they are.
Yeah, like you can't, they say you can't change who a person is, right? I don't believe you can change I can't change you, but I can communicate with you in such a way that I let you know something's important to you, and if it's important to me, and then if it's important to them in return that you feel that way, then maybe they make small changes to adapt to what's important to you, and that's part of being patient with them, learning.
And sometimes, ladies, you just got to leave it in God's hands. That's where you got to be patient.
Sometimes you got to just pray for God to do a thing in them.
Because you can go and go and go, and they can go at us, and it's like a block. And sometimes you just have to walk away and literally pray and leave it in God's hands. I'm telling you, ladies, because I used to go nonstop, and it never worked. It never worked. And when I started leaving it up to God a little bit, that's when there was somewhat of a change.
It's actually incredible sometimes, because there's been things I've prayed for that God gave my husband like a revelation about the very thing I prayed for, without me ever saying a word. So, now, obviously your husband has to be praying. He has to be listening for God to guide him, but yeah.
Absolutely.
So we went back to, So,
they all kind of blend together, ladies.
They really do.
Listening.
Yeah.
And the last one was selflessness. That's a hard one, because we can all be a little selfish as human beings. But when it comes to your partner, that just can't fly. It just can't, because it's never going to work. You have to be selfless with a partner. You have to be selfless with your time. You have to be selfless with your energy. Everything.
You have to be selfless with your sex life.
Everything. That's the truth. Everything. And you know what? There's times you have to be selfish too. And what I mean is, you need time for yourself too. Being selfish isn't always bad. So it's selfless to selfish. You gotta know when it's the right time. You really do.
Yeah, because selfless when they need you, but selfish in the respect that you don't lose you.
Yes. And
overdo, which we've talked about before, so, but you can't be selfish all the time. It'll never work. No. People say, marriage is 50-50. No, marriage is 100-100.
No, marriage is not. So that's where I think marriage can be an 80-20 at times.
Well, but it should know. Ideally, marriage is 100-100. If both people aren't giving 100%, something's going to give somewhere.
But I'm letting you know how marriage really works.
Yeah.
There is times, and men out there, you're going to hate me saying it, but 9 times out of 10, the woman's pushing the 70 and the man's pushing the 30. And what I mean by that is, and it's the truth, women do what we have to do. What we have to do. What needs done, period. Men, you got to push along the way a lot. You got to push them along the way. And if you've ever been in a marriage or ever been in a relationship, ladies, you know I ain't lying. You know men, you know I ain't lying. You know it's the truth. But you got to find your rightful place in that marriage. You got to stay true to yourself. But you got to love your spouse as you love yourself. He's part of you. You are one. And you really have to treat your marriage as your one. It's important. It's important. So that's kind of what we put together for y'all.
Yeah, I hope you appreciate it. I hope it helped. Make sure you like this video, you follow us on YouTube, you join our group if you haven't, invite your friends, subscribe to our channel, and we so appreciate it. We love you guys.
Bye-bye.